What are some of your hobbies outside of bodybuilding? That's a really tough question.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it. W's only, you know I've been winning.
Your overall women's bikini champion,
If you know
Nicole Drumlin. Congratulations!
Hi friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, as all the YouTubers say. I thought we would do a little sit down and get to know me video since prep and everything is on a pause right now. We're obviously in our reverse now, so no more little prep series, but this is kind of a long awaited get to know me. I asked on Instagram, I put a little Q&A box. If you're not following me there, which I think most of you are, that's how you have found me. But if you are not following me, my Instagram is at GYGBLATTT, 3 T's, baby. So yeah, I put a little question box to have people ask me questions, get to know me a little bit. So we are here answering them. I put it on my iPad, obviously filming on my phone. So let's get into it. There was a lot of questions on how I got into bodybuilding. So we will start there, give you a little background on how we got here. Okay, so I've always been into fitness, right? I remember back in middle school, so this was like circa 2011 to 2014, 2012, I don't know. That is kind of when I discovered fitness. And that was the era of YouTube when people were just starting to post fitness content. And I remember the first people I found were like Nikki Blacketer, and that was back in the day when she was with Christian and she was friends with Heidi. But yeah, so I found them and I was just like so intrigued on the gym, and I could not wait for the day that I could finally go work out in the gym, because I wanted muscle. I was always, from the start, I was like, I want to be fit. I did track and field and I wasn't good at it, but I just loved movement. And yeah, so that's kind of who I started finding on YouTube, and that's when Gymshark was blowing up, and I just found girlies through social media. Basically, it was also the era, like when I was getting into high school, it was when Whitney Simmons was coming up, and like Hannah Oberg, if y'all know who that is. But yeah, I was kind of just always inspired to work out and lift heavy and build muscle. So I remember in high school, I was counting down the days for when I was like old enough to get a gym membership, and my parents signed me up. I think it was when I was 14 or 15. So right when I was a freshman in high school, and there's my local gym. If you know. I would walk there because I didn't have a car. I didn't drive yet. I would walk there after school, and I would work out and just kind of like following along what I would see on social media. And then it also helps, like my parents were always, not always, but well, for a majority of my upbringing, they were kind of into fitness and like just working out in general. So they helped me through the gym because they would go there after work. I would go with them. And then also my older sister, she's super active. She does fucking everything from snowboarding, yoga, cheerleader. So she really helped me get into the gym as well. And yeah, so all throughout high school, I was really locked into lifting weights and everything. But the diet, I didn't know anything about, not that I didn't know anything about diet and nutrition, but that wasn't at the forefront. Because also, kind of, here's the lore, in high school, I was a little delinquent. That's the word. I was a delinquent. So I just loved to party and go out and drink and do bad things. So, but I still loved working out. It was like my two different worlds. Anyways, so it was mostly just weightlifting. Didn't know what I was doing back then. Obviously, none of us do when we're first starting. But it wasn't until high school when I kind of learned more about what bodybuilding was. And at the time, I was like, I would follow people on social media who would say like bodybuilding is a glorified eating disorder, and why would you want to stand on stage to have someone judge your body? Like, that's so fucked up. So I kind of like soaked that in, and I was like, bodybuilding is fucking stupid. What the fuck? Like, I just want to work out and be strong and be big. And it wasn't until like 2021, I think so, when I was in college and I found Kenzie Vance on TikTok. And she would talk about bodybuilding and talk about food and tracking and everything. And it was around 2021 that I started learning how to do macros and start to track my own food in terms of helping me reach my goals. I've always wanted to get bigger. That's the thing. I remember I was like in high school and stuff. I was probably around like between 100 and 110, 115. And I just wanted to get big. I would see girls on social media with big ass quads, and that was always my goal, which I think is cool and which has helped me along my journey, as opposed to the girlies who just wanted to get small and not lift weights and be afraid of them. I was in that opposite realm. So anyways, found Kenzie on TikTok. Then I started learning about bodybuilding. I was so intrigued, and people would always come up, not always, some men, I think this was their strategy of flirting. They would be like, oh, do you do bodybuilding? Do you compete? And I would be like, no. And then after a while, like with so many people asking me and then me learning about it, I was like, you know what? I want to do that. Like, I got so intrigued with it. And it was in 2022, that's when Kenzie did her first prep, her first show, and I followed along on TikTok the whole time. And she competed at the end of 2022, yes. And that's when I was like, I want to do this shit. And then she would say on social media, like, when you know you want to do it, hire a coach immediately. And then it just so happened, also in that same year, Maureen won the 2022 Olympia. That's my first time ever watching it and keeping up with it. Filipina, pink suit. I was like, oh, I'm doing this shit. And then coincidentally enough, Kenzie posted that she was going to start taking on competition clients and to apply to start in the new year, 2023. Yeah. So I remember applying that December, and I was like, Kenzie's going to hire me, or she's going to fucking accept me, and that's going to be the start of my bodybuilding career. And it was. So throughout that first year, 2023, we did a cut, my first cut ever, and just to kind of like assess, see where we are at. We ended the cut in about like May and June. I think I lost probably like 15, 20 pounds. I need to double check. But yeah, that was my first cut, and then we went into a growth phase to the end of 2023. And then I started my first prep with her in 2024, doing my first show in May of last year. And then I worked with her throughout my off season, but then there was just some like mental growth of like what I want actually to get out of this. And that's when I decided to leave her. I still love her. I have so much love for her. She brought me up to where I am now. I mean, like, I wouldn't be here without her guidance and support throughout those years. But I did decide to move on and find a new coach, Renee Harshey. She's local to me. She coaches from lifestyle clients to pros and Olympians. And I started with her in October of last year. And then you saw my preps of this year. So yeah, that's kind of my whole upbringing of fitness and getting into bodybuilding. Yeah, that was long-winded, but let's get into the other questions. So someone asked, what is something you'd like to accomplish before the year ends? That's a really good question. I'm gonna give you guys the tea here because Instagram and TikTok, they can wait. If you're watching this, you're a real one and you know. But I am planning on getting a breast augmentation by the end of the year. I've always told myself, I've recently told myself that I wanted to get my boobs done either before or when I turn 25 or when I turn pro. Pro cards out for this year and I turned 25 in January. So we're getting her done, baby. I have a consultation next week. So I'll keep you guys updated on here. Maybe we'll see. I want to keep shit on the down low for now, but you guys get it. Someone asked, are you enhanced? Okay, next question. What are some of your hobbies outside of bodybuilding? That's a really tough question. And I don't mean to make it seem like bodybuilding has fully encompassed me and I have no personality outside of it. But it really is like everything I think, breathe, and do. And I'm happy with that. I like to read. I read when I do my cardio for bodybuilding. I've really picked up on reading this year because of my cardio. And I've read so many good books, which I would love to get into one day and talk to people about because I just think learning is such a beautiful thing and you should never want to stop learning and growing. And yeah, so I guess I'd say my other hobby outside of bodybuilding is reading, learning, and expanding my knowledge. That's the main thing right now. So what is your goals long-term for the sport? I am so all into this. Like obviously pro card, that's my goal next. But I will step on the Olympia stage one day. I want to do this shit long term. And I've also thought about like beyond competing. I think it would be so fun and so cool to be like a show promoter one day as well. Like I really just want to get all into the bodybuilding industry, not just on the competing side, but later on like promoting or even judging, you know, stuff like that. I really just love the sport so much and I want to get involved in any way, every way possible. Next question, where are you from? I am from Albuquerque, New Mexico, born and raised. So there was another question similar. What made you decide to move out of Albuquerque? So I always thought about leaving Albuquerque like after I got done with college, which I graduated college in 2023. Yes. So I always knew I wanted to get out, and a few years prior to me moving here, I always knew I wanted to move here. I've thought about other places. I haven't been much to any other states that really have intrigued me. I don't want to live anywhere where there's like super crazy natural disasters. Like you will never catch me on the East Coast. I don't want to be anywhere cold, and I don't want to be anywhere rainy or snowy. So Phoenix it is, baby. I get the heat. I love the heat. Call me crazy. I love it. So that's why I moved out, and I just wanted to explore more. Like Albuquerque, if you know, you know. Lots of my friends here are there or they are from Albuquerque, and you know, I think there's just more room for me to grow, more opportunities elsewhere, and I have loved every second of living out here, and I don't have any desire of going back home. I only went home a couple times for family and like a graduation. I'll probably go back for Christmas to see my parents, but they love coming out here too. All my mom's family's out here, so it's good. I love it. I love it in Phoenix. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. I've already like grown so much as a person. I've already had so many good, amazing opportunities out here. So yeah, I just wanted to get out of Albuquerque. Again, like I've said, I was a little delinquent in high school, and I just don't have the best memories now looking back at like the people that were there that I associated myself with, the places. It's just, new opportunities, new growth, everything. Similarly, someone asked, how has life changed not living in New Mexico? I am thriving. I am living my best life. I've met amazing people. Even my bestie, Courtney, she is from Albuquerque, which is funny because we never knew each other or talked to each other when we were in Albuquerque, and now we're besties out here. But it's just, I've met amazing people. I've, again, had so many good opportunities already. The bodybuilding scene, yeah, that was the other thing. It's bigger out here. And yeah, good. There's good gyms, everything, good culture, good environments to be in. Next one. Someone asked, do you have a boyfriend? No, thank God. I love being by myself. Like, I could be by myself every second I choose to. I'm such an introvert. I love being home, being by myself. It's so nice. Favorite body part to train? These bad boys. Delts and glutes. Because I'm forced to as a bikini competitor. Not forced to. I actually love this shit, and I wouldn't compete in bikini if I didn't love training shoulders and glutes. So that'd be my favorite. What's your ethnicity? I'm Filipina. My parents were both born and raised in the Philippines. So my sister and I, and lots of our cousins, first generation born in America. Tattoo tour. This is gonna be a long one. Let's start with the legs so I can sit back down. This was my first tattoo, my Medusa. I got it originally, it was just the outline, and then I later got her shaded in with the flowers. And then, oh, my light just died. Hopefully that doesn't fuck it up. I'm too lazy to change it. Then we got this panther. This was a Friday the 13th tattoo. My knees are ashy. This is a hot air balloon. Again, being from New Mexico, Balloon Fiesta, everyone knows. So the place that I got this at, they would do like hot air balloon deals in October for the Balloon Fiesta. This is my little geisha. I got her for my birthday, I think in 2022. She's dope. This one is my sister and I got these matching in Portland because that's where she lives now. And when she first moved there, we wanted to get matching tattoos. This is supposed to be Mount Hood, which is in Oregon, Portland. Yeah, she's cute. Okay, here, I don't even know if you can see if I am in frame. Scorpions, because they look sick. The word ascension, based off of the song Ascension by Mac Miller. And then a butterfly. And then okay, let me get back down. I'm sweating. And then I have these two little birds here that I got on Friday the 13th. And my vision was to keep it all like mirrored. So that's that. My arm, I love peonies as a tattoo and I guess as a flower. With the panther, just looks sick. Most of my tattoos, I just like the art. There's no real deep meaning, some of them. I got her for one of my birthdays. Got this for one of my birthdays. I love butterflies. Chrysanthemums are such a beautiful tattoo flower. This mushroom, my sister and I got in Portland from a guy in a bus. Literally the most Portlandian thing ever. But he was doing tattoos in his bus, like a mobile tattoo shop. Kind of sketchy, kind of weird. But it doesn't look the best. What else can you expect from that? This was a Friday the 13th tattoo. Same with this one from the same people out here. I think it's Sad Boy Tattoos out here in Phoenix. They're always dope and always at all fun events. I have Divine Feminine back here for the Mac Miller album and just Divine Feminine in general. Women, female energy, feminine energy. Yeah, I could get into that later. This mountain range, I got this also kind of for my sister when she moved, just so I can have a little part of her because she's always on the mountain. Again, she snowboards. My hand tattoos I got at the tattoo convention out here in Phoenix last year. that was fun. 444, that became my number last year. I used to go to the gym at like 2, 3 in the morning, and then I would always see 444. I still do. That's just my number, and it's cute. I got this in December of last year, just because I want a little filler right here. It's just cute, Sacred Heart. This one I got at a First Friday event here in Phoenix. I was talking to this guy, and we went downtown, and the same tattoo shop that did these, they were out doing flash tattoos. He was like, get one, and he paid for it, so I wasn't gonna say no. It's just a rose. And last but not least, this is my baby Kodak. This is my dog. He passed away last year, right after my first show, actually. And I got this beautiful portrait of him. I actually won this in a giveaway, so it was also free, which is fucking insane, because this guy, he does amazing work. He's out in Casa Grande, south here of Phoenix. I still barely know the Phoenix map, but yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all the tattoos. I would love to get more. I'm starting to get the itch again. Obviously with prep, there's no room to get a tattoo because I'm doing cardio and sweating every second. But now that life prep is slowing down, maybe we'll get something. But I do have to be more like cognizant of what I get tattooed in terms of placement wise because of bodybuilding. So yeah. Favorite food combo. That's a hard one. Right now, I'm obsessed with my ground turkey, rice, banana, and almond butter, and honey, if I can add some honey there. That might be one of my favorites. Also, like sweet potato and honey. I make my sweet potato egg white pancakes, which I have been loving. Yeah, those might be my top ones right now that I can think of. Goated. Best buffin flavor. Okay, let me give you my top 5. So many people have been asking. Let me announce now here to YouTube. I now have a discount code with Hummus Fits and the Buffin Bakery. So it is code GBLATTTT for 10% off and to support your girl. But I fucking love buffins. If you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I will not shut the fuck up about them. So I've decided on I've tried most of them. There's only a handful that I haven't tried. But so far, out of what I've tried, my top 5 are Buff Cough, Cinnaburst, Beastly Cookie Gains, Tart Burst, and the Cocoa for Lemon. If anyone disagrees, you're wrong. Okay, Dream Clothing Brand sponsor. Lay is the one asking all these ones, which I love you so much. You're the cutest thing ever. Dream Clothing Brand sponsor. Dark Sport. She said, let's manifest that shit. Let's do it. I have been wearing Dark Sport probably, I think, since 2022 when I discovered bodybuilding. And it's all that I have and all that I wear. If you see my closet, it's literally just straight Dark Sport. And not in a weird culty way. I'm not obsessed with them like that. I just love their style because it's very much my style. And I do like the brand and their athletes in general. So, yeah. What was your favorite show of the season and why? That's a really good question. I'm going to say, so I did 3 shows this season. The Triple O in April, Junior Nats in June, and then USA's, obviously, last month, July. My favorite show, I think, would be USA's because I had my besties there with me. We had such a fun road trip, and if you saw my reflection post on Instagram, I wasn't happy with how Junior Nats went. My mindset around Junior Nats just wasn't the best, and I really switched it around, did a 180 because I told myself I wanted to, and I did. And I just had such a good time. It was fun. I didn't have any expectations. My coach was there. We ate some good fucking food, and it was just such a good trip. It was a great way to end the season, so that would be my favorite one. I'm excited. I would love to do it again next year. We'll see. Okay, how did you transition from eating regular to only whole foods and good ingredients? So, when I first started tracking macros, I was an if it fits your macros type of bitch. I would eat Pop-Tarts all the time. I would drink orange juice as a carb source. I would eat ice cream and fit in like chips and stuff and just eat so much processed food. And then over the years of like actually getting into bodybuilding, I started to refine a little bit on those things, being more mindful of what food actually fuels my body. I think I've had the biggest change happened, I think, after prep last year, because going through prep, you know, I started to learn, I need to dial in. And then I got on a meal plan from my coach 6 weeks out. So that was just like whole foods based, right? So I think following my prep last year, I started learning more too about what is in our food in terms of like the additives and just keeping things more simple. And I think, so last year I kind of started dialing in a little bit more. I still ate kind of not the best in terms of compared to what I eat now. And then this year is when I locked the fuck in and really started learning more. I don't know if you guys know Gabby, I don't know her last name, on TikTok. She does a lot of videos on food and like ingredients wise of like what we should kind of avoid and why, the science behind it. And I watch a lot of her videos and just, you know, learning, doing my own research in general. And there's just a lot of additives and chemicals in all the processed food, especially being in America. It's insane, and it's insane what it actually probably does to our bodies. So I'm not perfect in any shape or form. Like, I do have my guilty pleasures, right? But for the most part, I do like to stick to whole foods because I know how it makes me feel inside. Everything digestion wise, good. I feel good. I like my, you know, just everything. You notice like your skin is different. Your hair grows differently when you're eating nutritious food and getting the micronutrients. It's not even just about the macronutrients, but it's the micronutrients. I could go on and on about this, but I guess that didn't answer the question. Okay, how did I go from eating those to whole foods? Yeah, so it was more so in this prep because, you know, I've also learned from my coach Renee. She talks a lot about just eating whole foods, keeping shit simple, minimizing artificials, and in a way, prep, it didn't force me, but it got me to really lock in because I'm like, okay, if my coach tells me cut that shit out, I'm not gonna eat that shit. And then I've been in prep since January, so 7 months of really locking in the whole foods. It kind of just becomes routine, and then you fall in love with it and you make it a habit, and you don't want to go back because you feel good eating this way, and you know that other processed stuff is going to make you feel like crap, and you honestly don't get the same results eating processed food. Like I said before with the if it fits your macros approach, the way I was eating then, shoving all that processed food into my macros versus now, obviously my body, like I've grown muscle, my body's changed, but there is kind of like a body composition difference between eating processed food, even though you're eating the same calories, and then versus eating more whole foods. It's just, I don't know, science. You feel good mentally, physically, everything. So yeah, hopefully that was answer the question. Someone asked, do you let Alex adjust you? Alex is my sister. She is a chiropractor, and honestly, she has not adjusted me, I don't know if ever. It doesn't help that she lives in Portland and I'm out here in Phoenix, and we see each other maybe once or twice a year. But I'm in dire need of some body work and an adjustment. All right. That was all the questions. I hope I answered those well. Thank you to everyone who asked me questions on Instagram. I really didn't think anyone was going to, but these were really good. I'm glad I was able to get in depth into some of them. And hopefully that just gives you a little more insight in me and my background. And yeah, even though I don't do much outside of bodybuilding, there is still more to me than just bodybuilding. And I'm just grateful that people are interested and that I'm able to share. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Sitting in my Bentley, thinking about these hoes. All I do is kill them. I kill them like Nicole. I kill them like Nicole. I kill them like Nicole. What's between